Hey everybody, Steve here back on the N-Scale Cajon sub. Welcome back. This is going to be a quick short series on how I'm making my Helix. At the tracks at the top of my Helix kind of disappear into the scenery. So some people have asked how I'm going to do it. I've got some suggestions. I appreciate all the feedback, but I think I finally got what I'm going to do, and should give you guys a little bit of a preview here of the mock-up. First thing I did was mock it up. Initially, I was gonna, I thought about I really wanted a bridge here, like either the 15 or the 215, and a few people, suggested like a backdrop, disappear behind the backdrop. Thought about it, but really wanted to do something like an overpass. Once I started doing the overpass and started kind of mocking it up, I thought that I might be able to do it, but then it might look a little bit too, a little bit just too much scenery on one side, tracks on the other, and then where do the tracks go? So really wanted to make it disappear and blend into the scenery so people didn't say, well, where do these tracks go? So right now, this is the road I started with. And again, this is just a mock-up, so nothing here is secured. The only thing I've done is cut the mock-up to shape. So this was a freeway overpass, and I could have done 3 cars lane and 3 cars wide and a shoulder, 3 cars wide and maybe a construction shoulder. Initially, I started out with a shoulder as well. But then when I started looking at it, I started thinking, well, over here, it's going to disappear. There's going to be scenery like right here. So initially I thought, well, if I maybe doing some construction, I could have some mounds of dirt on this side of this overpass, maybe over here as if they're building, getting ready to start on an expansion project. But then you'd still see the tracks underneath. So I was like, well, let me see if maybe I can just hide them a little bit better. So I came up with this idea, and I'm going to have like a pair of new lanes coming in over here that are still under construction. And then a pair of new lanes here that are getting ready to start going in. And then the bridge obviously would have the new bridge piers on either side. And then I would probably run all that bridge beam supports, I guess, the whatever they run underneath the construction projects under these beams. These beams probably won't be used because they're a little bit too big. They were just some beams I had laying around. But I think that would give it a long, you wouldn't really see much of the tracks underneath right now. You can see light through there, but once the scenery's all done, you wouldn't see any of that. And then eventually going to have, like scenery here as if new piers are going in for those new lanes, and a little bit of support down here where the construction is having to maybe move some of the scenery and whatnot. And then I thought, well, how do I blend this side into the scenery? And for those that live in California, even here in Virginia, lots of freeways and overpasses have those. They're like retaining walls, or basically they put them in sections, and they're big, large sections of concrete that are along the freeways, and it prevents, sometimes there's homes on other sides, sometimes there's hills and rocks and things like that, and it prevents them from rolling down onto the freeway. I've seen catch fences, I've seen these, so I think what I'll end up doing is once I get this in place, I'll start bringing this scenery here, and then it'll end just on this other side. But anyway, I'm going to go ahead and continue this series, hopefully. I might put it all out at once, or I might do them in short little segments, depending on how much I do. But I'll give you guys updates on this series as I go, or if it becomes part 1 or part 2, part 3, etc. I'll keep letting you guys know and release them in increments. All right, so on to the next part. All right, so the first thing I did was I cleared off everything off the overpass. And then I had already previously cut this to shape to match the fascia, obviously. Next, I made these bridge piers that I have underneath here for stability. I went ahead and made those for all these items, and I'll paint these next, and can go ahead and remove everything now that I have all these made. Once I had this mocked up, I wanted to get these made before I did anything else. Now I got them to the right shape, right height, and they would fit underneath. I could mark them. I knew where their locations were. So that's what I've got so far, and I have a couple here that aren't pictured, but I need to obviously I need to put something to mount them to here that's gonna be underneath that part of the overpass. But obviously you can tell how I did my Helix, and the wood doesn't, the sub road bed or the road bed doesn't come out far enough, so I need to just you know, add a piece there all the way to probably about here. All right, so that'll be next. All right, so the next thing I did after cutting these bridge piers to size and labeling them so I get them back in the right position was painting them gray. And then I went ahead and did these retaining walls. Had them straight at first, but definitely need to be angled or sloped. And appreciate Gary and Travis' feedback on that to help me, you know, make sure I got them right. Sent them some pictures, and it was too boxy at first. So anyway, we'll go ahead and get all this stuff glued in place, and then we'll come back and we should be able to start gluing these in place once they're painted as well. All right, so I've got another mock-up. I've just been making sure everything fits before I start working on the scenery. I think I have most of the stuff in place. I did go ahead and build the concrete boxes for the bridge landings, or not sure what they're actually called, where the as they're building bridges, they built a structure where the beams would actually be secured to on either side. Not sure what they're actually called, but I'll go ahead and start working scenery. Those are actually glued in place. It just went ahead and mocked everything up to make sure it was level, and then I just got a little carried away just again to see how everything looks. But on this side, starting to kind of look good. I'm not sure yet if I'm going to end up doing just piers alone and kind of make these look like they're already filled with concrete on both sides. And they just maybe haven't removed the framing around them yet, and then have piers going across, maybe type of like as they start getting the foundation or the you know, the flooring, however they do it for the bridges. I'm not a bridge expert, but I've just seen them, plenty of them driving through California as they start putting them together. It seems like the first thing they do is put stuff up above what's below to protect anything from falling. And I believe it's wood, but before they pour concrete. But so again, that's this side. I'll kind of scroll over to this side now, and I went ahead and did most of the lattice for the hills that will be there, the scenery that'll kind of butt up to this retaining wall here. And I haven't secured this yet, or this lattice to this, so I can went ahead and want to be able to pull that cardboard out from underneath before I start securing this. And then what I'll do is I'll end up probably laying the plaster over this side, and then once that's secured, I'll go ahead and attach the lattice on the retaining wall here to the rest of the structure, and then finish the plaster. But again, just a quick peek. That might be it for this series, and then the next set, or the next episode, will be the scenery for this project. So anyway, hope you guys enjoy this, and stick around for part 2. That'll be coming shortly after this one, and we'll go from there. All right, thanks for watching.